Good. Okay. Awesome. I think things are a little bit behind, so when I speak, is a few seconds before you guys hear it, but we're cool. Okay, so let me introduce myself. I'm Ingrid Harding, and my daughter Sarah is 21, and she has Hopkins syndrome. She initially had a diagnosis of Rett syndrome, and I used to be very involved with that community. And when she got her new diagnosis of Pitt-Hopkins, I kind of ducked out for a while, but I have been struggling without the community and really have been going on a journey of my own to figure things out since Sarah has become 21, going through teenage years and becoming an adult, and all of the guardianship stuff and all of that is heavy. It really is heavy. So I thought I would jump in to do this summer challenge because I need the challenge myself. I was initially inspired. There's a lot of Facebook Lives out there that I'm just really impressed with what they've been able to get people motivated to do. And I've been motivated. So I thought, well, let's see if we can join together and motivate each other. I did one of those declutter video challenges one summer, and I actually cleaned out my pantry and put in some cool little boxes. So it worked, right? We can make this work. What I want to do each week is talk about the emotions about having a special needs child, especially an older adult one. We'll go over a caregiver template that I went through. I created this template a few years ago and sent it to some friends and didn't get much traction. People liked it, but it's a lot to take on. So that's when I started thinking, well, why don't we just do this together and just break it down and just look at a page at a time, maybe just do a little bit at a time, give each other a challenge each week to finish a task, and maybe do this together. So I'll be giving you some assignments. I would love feedback. Please, email me, message me, comment here, whatever. I really want to make this helpful for you. I'm fully aware that everyone's journey is completely different. Anything I say and talk about is just my truth. I know that everyone is in such unique situations and struggling with so many different layers. And I think it's those layers that we're not really aware of. And a lot of what I'm going to be talking about is how to separate things out and declutter. Yes. And to break it down so that it's more manageable. Because right now, it really is like a mind clutter, and you're doing mental gymnastics up in there, and you're shoving more and more pieces in there, and it's just going to get noisier and louder and more anxious. And so breaking it down and figuring out how to simplify is going to be key. And writing it down is a big exercise, because when you have to use actual typing words, you start to realize how ridiculous some of the things that you're doing are. I'll tell you a little bit about what really started to get me going. I was feeling completely overwhelmed, completely lonely, completely helpless, anxious, just at my wit's end. And I thought, how do I keep going like this for several more decades? Like, I can't do this. And I was unloading on my husband. And I was just like, I can't, this, and what about this, and this, that, and the other. And then I did finally just say, because it was one of my biggest fears, is, well, what happens if something happens to me? And my husband just looked at me kind of calmly and said, Ingrid, I'll figure it out. It's not rocket science. And I was like, wow. I thought that was kind of mean for him to say. I felt really defeated and just had to sit with that for a couple days. And after I sat with it, I started to think, well, maybe this isn't rocket science. Maybe I'm making it into rocket science. Maybe I just have too much going on. And as I've even processed it more, I realized the rocket science piece isn't in the actual activity elements. It's that we take it all on. So we're not just doing the caregiving, we are doing the house management and paying bills and dealing with IEP meetings and dealing with insurance. And they forget to tell you about this little thing called menopause that starts to rear its ugly head right around the time our children are transitioning to adulthood. We have other kids and their layers of complexities. Everyone's in transition, maybe other kids leaving home for the first time, our parents aging at the same time. That's what makes it rocket science, is dealing with all of the layers all of the time. And it is overwhelming. And I just want to reach out and give everybody a big hug, because it's heavy stuff. But I decided that in order to get me motivated and to get everyone around me to rally, is that I actually needed to get some time away, so that I just needed a break, a sabbatical, I called it. Professors get sabbaticals. I just felt like I needed a sabbatical. So I didn't take a whole year off, but I actually took 3 months off. And 3 months was a good amount of time for everybody to kind of figure things out and me to figure things out. It was mostly about me and separating things out, communicating. I like to say be a little less rabbit and a little more Roo, and have some fun and have a better time with it, and be more relaxed about it, and gain that peace of mind, that day by day. And there are just things I could do to change the way I was approaching things, versus always just wishing other people understood or wishing other people would help. I needed to make some changes so that could actually be a possibility. So each week we'll review some tabs on this caregiver thing, so we actually have something to look at. And we are going to start the process of unpacking. So I love the term chaos. I don't know if you've heard this little joke before, but my house is chaos. It's actually like an acronym. Can't have anyone over syndrome. You ever notice how you clean up when other people are coming over, but not for yourself? You make things easier for other people, but not for yourself. That's going to be a big theme as we get started, is to start thinking about, why do I do that, and why don't I treat myself the way I would want for others? I laughed at myself as I was getting ready to leave for my 3-month journey, that I was actually moving things around onto better places so that it would be easier for the caregiver to reach. And then I said, well, why didn't I put it there so it was easier for me to reach? I bought more washcloths so the caregiver wouldn't have to do laundry as often. It's like, why don't I buy more washcloths for me so that I don't have to do laundry as often? So it's a great spillover effect as you start to fix the chaos and put yourself as a guest in your home and treat yourself as you would your visitors and your guests. The planning for the future, the planning for you not being there actually ends up helping you in the now, and that's what's kind of magical about all this, is it's not just helped me relax a little more about what will happen with Sarah if something happens to me, but hey, things are actually better now in the present time. Another little analogy you'll see through these that I love analogies is you're driving a car. Sometimes you're in the slow lane. Sometimes you can go in the fast lane. Sometimes you just need to get off the exit and stop. And all of that is okay. Be kind to yourself. Sometimes the car is completely broken down and you need a new car. You need a new battery. You need parts. You can't do any of it yourself. You need people. You need other people to help you in that journey. So wherever you are, whether you are cruising in the fast lane, everything's working well, you don't need help, or whether you are broken down on the side of the road, we're all on this journey trying to move forward, and hopefully we can help each other out along the way. All right, so let's kick into this caregiver instruction sheet. I thought I was going to be able to share my screen. Can you guys open the caregiver template? I'll post the link again here. You can go ahead and open that. So what I did here in this instruction template, so you can open this, you can go to File, make a copy, and it's yours to use, edit it, do whatever you want with it, use pieces of it, add things, subtract things, however you can find this useful. If you have things you want to share with the group, let us know. There's something that you think might be better way to word something, or in addition to it, send it on so that everyone can benefit. I can change it on the template, but if you want to use that for your template, we can do that. So each week we'll go through, we'll just briefly look at a couple of the tabs. You can see, I'll just do a brief overview since this is the first week right now, but at the bottom, again, I thought I could share my screen, but when I tested yesterday, it let me share, but as soon as I unshared, it canceled the video. So I'll have to work on figuring that out for next time. But the first page of the template is pretty self-explanatory. This is all your basic information about your daughter or your son, your child, the person you're caregiving for. The next tab is a bit of a narrative, your stories, your photos. I want this to be a whole person guide. So not only are you learning how to break things down in your own mind, but anyone who comes in won't just know about your child or the person you're caregiving for's needs, but who they are as a person, the whole person. I think that's really important. In our daughter's room, we have one of those digital photo frames of pictures of her doing things with people, doing activities she loves, so that she is more than a list. I think when people see her with her brother and sister, see her petting a bunny, see her strapped into her toboggan on the ski slopes, they see Sarah more as a person. And this is so much even more important if this person is nonverbal and they can't share the stories themselves. So just have a place where you can tell stories. Another thing, especially with nonverbal people, is we forget to reminisce with them. We forget to share memories with them. And so I constantly remind myself every day to share something with Sarah about, oh, remember when we did this? Or remember when that happened? Or remember that teacher you had? So this is a place to put those memories and things so other people can talk to her about them and read, oh, I read that when you were 7, you got to ride on a horse. Whatever it is, but so those memories and that reminiscing can continue. And again, it's about getting everything out of your head and onto paper somehow to start the process of releasing some from yourself and having it be in a simpler way for people to absorb and understand and use for your child or your person you're caregiving for's future. The next tab is the squad. That's my favorite one. We'll do that next week. Peace of Mind squad. I love that Peace of Mind, the acronym is P.O.M, and we've got our P.O.M squad. So this is the first P.O.M squad meeting. You're each part of a P.O.M squad now, whether you like it or not. And we're going to help each other on this journey, and it'll give you a little bit of an assignment at the end of this. Then we have basic scheduling, caregiving, symptoms, diet, a place to put insurance, financial information, documents, products. I try to think about everything logistically, operationally, all that kind of stuff that has to do with this process. And again, it's a double process. It's figuring out how to communicate everything for the inevitable, or I shouldn't say the inevitable, the unthinkable, and actually helping you in the present de-stress a bit, have some peace of mind, and getting it off out of your mind and organized in some way. So I want you all to right now accept that peace of mind is possible. Maybe not full peace of mind, but just a little bit of peace of mind is possible. So I need you to commit to that. I also need you to realize that you are irreplaceable. You're irreplaceable. There is no one who can do everything you do, feel all that you feel. So don't be looking for that when you are trying to find a caregiver or find a set of people. It's going to take a team. It's going to take a whole squad to replace you. And that's a good thing, because we're overwhelmed, right? And we really, it's hard to do it all by ourselves. So just like I moved a box so a caregiver wouldn't have to reach as high, that's kind of what we're doing here. We're going to shift some things around because we wouldn't really wish this level of anxiety and stress and responsibility on anybody. So we're not going to do that. We're going to find ways to think about things differently and look at who our friends and community resources are differently, so that we can do it better. Okay, this is tough. Not knowing not getting the feedback. I love being in groups and talking and hearing people's feedback, and so this is a new experience for me, just kind of talking out into space right now. Hopefully it's translating well, and hopefully you're able to access the caregiver template. And I wanted to keep this to 30 minutes, keep it short because I know everybody's really busy and has so much on their plates. So why don't we get to some of our assignments. So for our assignments, I want you to go through an exercise called If I Had to Write That Down. And whether you get to write it down right now or not, don't stress, but just start getting into that mindset. A couple weeks ago, I spoke at the Pitt Hopkins family conference and shared this story, so that if anybody was also heard that, you're going to have to hear this story again. I got a few nods from the husbands in the audience, which was kind of funny. So here's my example of if I had to write that down. Laundry. I have this weird little system. I change Sarah while she's seated on her potty chair. Yeah, she's 21. I'm still calling it a potty. What am I doing? Her toileting apparatus. And I put the things that can be worn again that aren't so dirty to the left, and I put the things that are dirty and need to be washed to the right. And then she has these hand brace things that my dog loves to eat. So I make sure that I put those in this little basket that I have in the bathtub so that the dog can't get to them. So you can imagine when you have little piles and little things, and then also there's certain washcloths I use for certain things, that if I leave and come back and the dog has eaten something, or they use the wrong washcloth, or why are you washing all these clothes, they're not all dirty. It's so complicated and it's so unnecessary. So I realized if I had to write that down, the instructions just for what to do with her dirty clothes would be several paragraphs, which is ridiculous. So I can surely keep doing it that way when I'm around, but I really can't expect that of anybody else. So what I decided to do was just put a big laundry basket in the bathtub and just said, just throw everything in there. That was it. So I went from this pile's here, this pile's for this goes in the bathtub, to just put everything in the basket in the bathtub. And I explained it was so the dog wouldn't mess with stuff. And it just became a 2-sentence instruction versus all of my little weird things that I'm doing to get through and make it the way I want it to be. So I think this week, if you can stop and think about some of those things that you do that have all these little details to them, the way you like to do it, is if I had to write that down, could this be a lot simpler? Could I get rid of some of those things? And laugh at myself a little bit. And again, sometimes it spills over, and a lot of times now I'm just throw it all in the bathtub. So that's an example, if I had to write that down. So that's your mental assignment, is to start thinking about if I had to write this down. The second assignment is to find a buddy, your first person in your P.O.M squad that also wants to go through this process of filling out a template. They don't have to join in on the calls or be part of all this if they don't want to, but just someone that you can kind of hold each other accountable and say, hey, I finished a tab, or I filled this page out. Did you finish that page out yet? Or I'm stuck here, or let's get on the phone and fill this out together and talk about it. But so the thought of the assignment is to think about if I had to write things down, and then your actual, like, let's check this box off assignment, so that we're ready for next week's talking about the P.O.M squad, is find that first member of your P.O.M squad. And that person can live anywhere, somebody you can just get on the phone with or text back and forth with and hold each other accountable. I mean, I guess a big overall goal that we'll just talk about every week is pick some goal for the 7-week challenge that you want to say at the end, hey, I did that. A simple one would be, I filled out this whole, well, it's not simple, but I filled out the whole caregiver guide and I'm done. Like, that would be amazing. I would be super impressed, because it's a lot. And it's not just filling it out, it's the emotions that come with it. I think a lot of people outside of our community think that we can just sit down and write boxes and fill things out and answer questions and surveys. It's so easy. It'll only take 10 minutes. No, it takes days, because you have to be in the mindset and have had enough sleep to do it. It takes time to find things. It takes emotions that dredge up when you even think about it. So I get that this is not easy. And that's why I think having a P.O.M squad buddy who would kind of banter with you on it, and hold each other accountable will be helpful. So, because we don't need more loneliness. We don't need to be sitting by ourselves filling these things out and feeling even more lonely. I don't want that to be part of this. This is about getting more people involved in your life, getting more people involved in your child or the person you're caregiving for's life. So let's make that front and center. So next week I want to ask you who you found. Hopefully you can, and I'll be somebody's buddy. I don't know how many buddies how many people would ask, but I definitely hopefully will be that person in some way to help get us through. I think that's about it. So look at those first 2 tabs. Those are tabs that you can fill out when you're in the mood. That second tab, stories, photos, that's just evolving all the time. So that's not something to check off, but start thinking about it. That first tab, that's basic stuff. I'm sure you already have that written out in 5 different places and maybe even pasted to a kitchen cabinet somewhere. But the beauty of these Google Docs is that you can share them with other people easily, and you don't have to worry about who has what, and if you need to change something, you don't have to reprint something out. It's just constantly updated. So I've enjoyed this method. Okay, well, good luck to everybody for finding your first P.O.M squad buddy, and I'm really looking forward to next week talking about the squad, because that's the key to all of this, is breaking it down and finding lots and lots of people from lots of different places you never might have thought of that could be part of your team. They'll not only help you in the future, but hopefully that will translate maybe to helping you a little bit now. So I welcome feedback. The Facebook page, this event page, the peaceofmindjourney.com website, there's an email link. Let's get this started, and let's get you there. So thanks for everything. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next Thursday.